Good morning from Button Willow Raceway. We are here with Team Principal Ryan Passey of Goodwin Racing. And what are we standing in front of? This is a heck of a Miata.
It's the HyperMiata.
Okay.
It's my personal time attack car.
Okay.
I've sort of been racing / building and then back to racing and then tear it down and build it again over the past 15 years.
So this is the shell that you started with a decade or so ago when HyperMiata came around.
Yeah, it's a 1990 Mazda Miata. It's got an 89 build date in the door jamb. So it doesn't look like one anymore, but yeah, it's a Miata.
So besides, promoting the products Goodwin Racing sells, why build this car? What's it for? What's the goal?
I love the idea of going after that one lap. Just going for absolutely everything, all the stars align, and I just like the type of cars. I like time attack because there's a lot of engineering freedom. Most racing, there's a lot of rules holding you back from doing what you'd like to do with the car because they're trying to create parity.
Yeah.
And that's great from like a competition driver standpoint, but it's not fun for the guy building the car who's got all these wild and crazy ideas.
Yeah. So speaking of crazy ideas, last time I saw this car, it was a basic LFX swapped Miata. Not basic, but a fairly. I've got one in my garage. It's an LFX swapped Miata, lots of Miata sheet metal, a pretty basic aero kit, and some big wheels. So what the heck did you do?
It had become a fast Miata, but then I kind of moved up to the next level of competition and we decided, all right, we have a quick Miata. I want to build a car that's going to be quick no matter what you compare it to. Basically, just a hair over 5 years. It's back at the racetrack. We ran it at Chuckwalla 2 weekends ago.
Wow. So what is this? I'm assuming there's some Miata in the creamy nougat center here, but
yeah.
What else is on this car?
I mean, the main thing is that this is actually not built to do anything unlimited rule sets. It's built for GTA's limited class.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, being time attack, there's quite a lot that you can do, and there's really no bolt that hasn't been touched on the car. But the idea is that between the shock towers, you need to have that original car there in terms of the chassis. We can't move suspension components too much, things
tub,
like that.
stock suspension components, although the front from the firewall forward is tube frame now, right?
Right, so past the shock tower, you can cut things out and rebuild them. Obviously, when they say you can't move the suspension pickup points, it's not to say that you're going to use factory arms, because those will bend. You're not going to use factory uprights because you'll shear them.
Right.
So everything's aftermarket, but everything is still very Miata.
And the goal was serviceability and durability and saving weight, right? Some combination of the three?
The goal was to reimagine the car around the 18x11s.
So the big wheels are where the body comes from then?
Yeah. Miatas, especially the NA and NB that are on 15-inch wheels, are running at a tire deficit to everybody else.
And that's just rulebook based, right? You have to run a 200 tread wear?
Yeah, they'll say, for example, you have to run a 200 tread wear. And your options for 200 tread wear in 15-inch, you don't have tires available to you that guys can run if they can run
AO52 and that's about it, right?
I think the AO52 you can get in a 205.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
This is where the problem is, right? And for a while, GTA was required that you ran the Yokohama,
right,
so there was no tire to run. They've changed the rules a couple of times, but now we can actually run anything 100 tread wear or up, or 60. Okay. They say 60, but
still not many good options.
No, not a ton.
So you need 18-inch wheels. I'm assuming once you put 18s on an NA Miata, there really isn't much fender left. So explain the body, explain where that came from.
Well, the idea is to do 18x11s without compromise.
Okay.
So the chassis, and the rules do let us modify the chassis for wheel and tire clearance. So we have basically free reign there. So the chassis has been, all the sheet metal's been reworked around that. And then there's bodywork designed and made from scratch that I made all carbon fiber and carbon Kevlar. To make the car actually work around that.
Carbon,
everything.
Wow.
Everything. Yep.
And so that started, I'm assuming you scanned the car, modeled what you wanted in the computer.
Found a company that, specialized in that. Did a 3D scan, guided them on what I had envisioned, both aerodynamically and also just visually. So I have molds for the whole car.
Okay.
Because there was no way I was going to do that scale of a project and then drive around on one bodywork.
Right.
And just hope it never broke.
So you'll send me a set.
Yeah. I don't know if you could the wheel arches aren't going to make sense on your car, but
I got cardboard and Bondo. I'll make
Right.
it work. So what's the power plant then? If you've got a ton of traction now, what are you trying to do with it?
So it's still an LFX, GM V6 out of the Camaro 3.6 liter.
Okay.
So it has a Rotrex supercharger.
Okay.
I just, designed all of it, just got a Rotrex unit and designed everything around it.
Yeah.
And that then required that we change a bunch of other things.
Statement of the day.
Yeah, right. It's a domino effect.
Yeah,
You change one thing and everything around it has to sort of accommodate it.
Yeah.
So,
and a Rotrex, that's like a centrifugal blower, right?
yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, runs off a pulley, and I like it because it generates almost no heat,
Okay.
and it is very linear in its delivery. Unlike, there's something to be said, lots of good things to be said for turbos, but
Yeah.
in terms of sympathy on the driveline, if it all comes on at one point at 4,200 RPMs, it can be hard on things, engine internals, transmission diff, etc.
So, and then it's just, that sure looks like just a bone stock used engine with all the shiny supercharger parts on it.
It is. We've got 5 pulley sizes.
Okay.
So that we can dial it in if we want to run with like SCCA or some other event or like NASA that does power to weight ratio, and so we want to fine tune it to sort of be at the pointy end of a certain class.
Yeah.
But with about 100 horsepower spread from one to the other.
Are you willing to say how much power you make or can make?
Yeah, we're kind of keeping it under wraps at the moment.
Is it more or less than 5?
It's more than that.
More than okay.
Yeah. We got to a point with the supercharger where we were spinning the supercharger fully, and I was like, we should probably not pursue any more than this so long as the internals are stuck. And we'll probably run it most of the time on the lower power. It feels awesome, and if we need it, we have more.
So, LFX bolted to a Camaro transmission still? Because I know that's a weak point in our car.
We changed, I lost a transmission at Circuit of the Americas. I wanted something that I just didn't have to worry about. So it's a Jericho 4-speed.
So nuclear option?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
Something that can handle all of it. It's super strong, but also because there's only 4 gears, it's actually very lightweight. So a lot of guys are doing sequentials, but there can be more complications with that. I wanted something that just
130 pounds, something like that. I mean,
right. So I wanted something that was light. We saved 60 pounds between the clutch, flywheel, and transmission.
And what does the whole car weigh?
Yeah, we're not telling anybody that either.
Oh, really? That's secret
it's
too?
It's not as light as people would assume. They see all the carbon bodywork and everything, but you don't necessarily take into account all the things that add weight.
Is it, well, and 18-inch wheels are also...
It gained 50 pounds in tire and wheel.
Is it lighter than a normal Miata?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not as light as people assume, it's probably 1,900 pounds. And no, you can make a Miata 1,900 pounds.
That's journalism. I got you down to between 19 and 2,300.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you're sneaky that way.
So what about the rear differential and the rest of the driveline all the way back? Is that just Miata stuff? Or?
It's the G-Trag G80 differential, which is a common choice with the LFX swap. We worked with OS Geiken to do a limited slip for it. Cool. That took 4 years because of the COVID delays. They stopped all the R&D.
Oh, wow.
But it feels amazing. So I'm really happy that we pushed through and got that done.
Yeah.
And V8 Roadster's axles.
Got it.
Miata hubs at the back. Those are pretty key to the car. The car used to eat bearings in one day. So fingers crossed these last a lot longer.
And then talk to me about cooling, because you say supercharged zillion horsepower time trial car, and I think it'll do one lap and overheat.
The Rotrex, like I said, doesn't make much heat. You're going to have a little bit higher intake air temperature just because you're compressing air, but aside from that, it's almost like it's naturally aspirated.
You want to shout out any cooling partners while you're talking about it?
CSF? Yep, absolutely. It's running a triple pass radiator that they make for us for the NC Miata. And I adapted it to this car. I can run whole sessions with the car.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then talk to me about electronics and data and all that sort of stuff, because I'm assuming it's not a PCM.
No. When I first tried the supercharger as like a step change on the car, we couldn't get enough fuel. The GM-ACU has a bunch of torque tables that are fighting you the whole way. It was basically a nightmare to try to make more power with those limitations. So the real solution was to switch to port injection. Rip the DI out, and The goal with that was to have a really scalable, traditional fuel system in the car where you can get all the fuel that you want, no matter how much you want, with off-the-shelf parts.
And Miata tank, or does it have a cell in it?
Miata tank.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I like the Miata fuel tank because the weight distribution's good.
Yeah.
Fuel cell's worse, you know, from a certain perspective. It has a surge tank, so that, you know, high Gs. We were dealing with a lot of starvation before we had a surge tank.
Oh, okay.
And the port injection, I required that I make custom fuel rails, which took a while. It was like a 3 or 4 month project to learn how to machine fuel rails.
So you actually grabbed some blocks of aluminum and made your fuel rails?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're 8-piece. So
why would you want to do one piece?
You know,
eight sounds
6
like a way better.
staggered cylinders, and so this rail actually has to get to the other side, and so they're all doing.
That's cool.
It wasn't a simple rail.
Yeah.
But the whole point of that was to be able to run with port injection. Now you don't have, you know, there aren't a lot of ECUs that can do direct injection. So now with this simple fuel, relatively simple fuel system, it's on a Haltech. Okay. So Nexus R5. That gives us complete control. We don't have any of the challenges we used to have. And then there's an AIM MXP that's
and
doing all the
R5 supports traction control too, doesn't it?
It will.
Okay.
I'm still working out a little finicky thing with front wheel speeds.
Okay.
So we don't have traction control. I thought it would be like mandatory to have it.
Yeah.
It has so much downforce and grip that I'm like, do we need this? It's
fair.
The only driver aid that the car has at the moment is electric power steering.
Oh, so no ABS either?
No ABS.
Okay.
It's another thing that's kind of on my long list of, you know, what I'd like to do in the future.
Yeah.
Starting to get some laps with the car, I'm shocked at how little I feel like it's necessary at this point.
Okay.
The car just has a lot of grip. And obviously when you get it right to the limit, you know, some of those aids are going to help.
Yeah.
Or, you know, weird conditions or something like that. But
like fog and a wet, muddy track at Buttonwillow?
You notice we aren't running right now.
Yeah. So the other thing I like vividly remember last time I saw this car was you were running, I mean, pretty crazy fast times with just a roll bar in it. So I see a full cage now.
So, good friend of mine, Moti at Blackbird Fabworks, I actually learned fabrication, kind of apprenticed with him for a couple of years way back in the day, and we've been friends ever since. The previous car had what he and I called his 3/4 cage. Okay. So the back half was a cage. It had some door bars, but it wasn't, you know, everything wasn't connected. It didn't have the front, the area above your head. It didn't have the A-pillars. When we were running the car previously, we got to a point with chassis flex and just chassis weakness to the point that the aero was like trying to rip the body apart, like it was peeling spot welds and things like that.
You're saying Mazda didn't really have this in mind when they designed this car?
It was not what they planned on in '89 when they built it, no. We knew that there would be more confidence with the car, and it needed a full cage with the speeds that it was doing, and more than even just a safety thing, it needed to have all the loads transferred through the chassis better. So now this is a new full cage by Blackbird Fabworks, and it connects to all the shock towers, front and rear. There's a direct load path pretty much anywhere that there's going to be a substantial load, straight from that source through the cage into opposing corners. So like the cage, the splitter, everything is, supported properly now.
So I'm going to ask you 2 more questions. The first one, always fun asking at a racetrack, always gets great reaction. If I was going to duplicate this car, I showed up with a blank check, what kind of number would I have to write?
The problem is the hours.
See,
right? So I spent 5 years building it, right? If you recreate it on paper to buy all the parts, it's like $150,000.
Wow.
Which is kind of ridiculous for a Miata.
So you really were committed to having a fast Miata.
For a time attack car, that's, I mean, obviously you can go time attack a stock car, but like to have a time attack car that's somewhere near the pointy end for its class, that's on the low side.
Yeah,
it's still
really not bad.
I'm really working on it here, but that's sort of kind of the Miata approach, I mean, there are
If you think about it, this actually makes a lot of sense, and we have a good and normal hobby.
But like I said, the problem is the hours.
Yeah.
The car couldn't be built without it being my passion project.
And so 5 years, I mean, it wasn't just mothballed in the corner for 5 years. That was working on it, what, every week, every day,
A lot of times it would be every single day. It's 4,500 hours.
Why did you count?
I spreadsheet everything. for better or for worse.
That's impressive. But the hours and the spreadsheet. Well, and let's get on track.
All right, cool.
Okay, I see a wheel off the car, I see a bunch of grease on the wheel, and I hear hot track still. So
yeah.
What's going on?
I mean, we finally got a little bit of clear track and went out there and started finding a little bit of pace, set a new time, best for this car.
It looks like you were really starting to get into it.
Just starting to.
Yeah.
It's starting to feel good. And I was like, oh, I'll go for one more because I'm actually still leaving all this time on the table. And in the highest speed section of the track, suddenly it went to red line and something weird was going on, so I brought it in. We've done an axle. Really what happened was just before going out, you and I were having a conversation and axles and LFX swaps came up.
So how have your axles been? Because they were a weak link on our swap car.
Yeah, and I said that they had been doing fine. And we were way too close to the car at the time of that conversation.
It heard,
clearly.
Yeah.
So instantly, we've lost an axle.
Okay. Sorry, I guess I jinxed it.
Yeah, thanks. The good news is that that's a pretty easy, swap the axle and we're, back in business. I've got to take it apart to figure out exactly why.
Yeah. And where are the closest or fastest axles for your? Because you need to have this car running next weekend. So what's your plan to get it back on track?
Next weekend. I'm pretty sure Drive Shaft Shop doesn't do 4-day axles.
I think they just laugh when you ask.
So I heard somebody's got some axles. And,
there's this magazine in Florida that has spare Miata axles.
This might be a name a price kind of situation, right? The price is right, but I think we're gonna need some axles.
Okay,
or at least one.
Well, I gotta hop on a plane. Sorry I can't be here to see it all fixed, but I'll get home. I'll ship you some axles. I'll see you next time.
All right, man. Well, been a pleasure having you.
Appreciate the invite.
Appreciate it.
Sorry it didn't work out the way we hoped.
I mean, that's part of the game.
Yeah, all part of. You remember when I was saying, sometimes fast time trial cars aren't the most durable things on the planet?
Yeah, you said that, and right after that, I went out and was like, oh, I'm going to prove him wrong, and I did the whole session. And then came in and was like, oh, I got checker, I couldn't run any longer. Here we go.
Hey, all part of the game.
Yeah, we'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Oh, cool. So if you like seeing this kind of stuff, if you like coming to the track with us, if you like seeing some carnage, sadly, please make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you at the track.
Want to see more content like this? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And for more information, visit us online at grassrootsmotorsports.com.